In this lecture, we will go through the best practices of TikTok ads. So the first one is naming your campaigns, ad sets, and ads. So ensure that you name your campaigns, the ad sets, and ads very well. So, for example, how I like it is your campaigns should have the name of your product. Your ad sets should have the names of the interest that you have chosen or the targeting that you have done, and your ads should have the name which describes what kind of creative it is. So why do we do this? It is because once you have a lot of campaigns, ad sets, and ads that are running, it becomes very difficult to understand which ones are working well for you if they're not named well. So the goal here is to ensure that once you see a campaign or any ad set or any ad, you should be able to identify it immediately without opening the ad. Second one is ensure that whenever you create a new campaign, you have at least 3 ad groups and 3 ads in a campaign. So what happens here is if you have only one ad group or one ad, you do not give TikTok enough room for testing. So you need to give more options to the algorithm so that they can find your audience better and test different options with the audience. So whatever option works best, you can use that one later on. Third option is you need to keep refreshing your creatives every week or 10 days. So TikTok as a platform is growing tremendously fast. However, it currently does not have an audience as large as Facebook. So what happens is your creatives get used very quickly. So for example, you do not want the same person to be seeing the same ad again and again. You want to show him your ad, but it's better if you show him a different version of your ad. So it does not mean that you need to keep creating new and new videos and new content. What you can also do is you can edit the same video. You can take some part from the video in the middle and put it to the start, some part from the start of the video and put it towards the end. So you can play around with your existing video as well, and that becomes a new ad. So it becomes a new creative for your customer. Fourth one is do not turn off an ad group that is working. So once there is any ad group that is working very well, which means that the algorithm has figured a good audience and a good strategy to for that ad group. So if you do anything with that ad group, what happens is it gets into the learning phase again. So it messes up with the data and your costs might change. So if that is working for you, unless there are any fulfillment issues, so if let's say you do not have the product with you or there's some problem with the logistics or some product quality, if you're in a position to fulfill that order or to fulfill the orders that are coming in, keep that ad group on, do not touch that. We'll see how to increase the budget later on, but for now, as a standard practice, do not touch the ad group. So now let's talk about optimizing your TikTok ads. How do you make most of the platform in the best possible way? So you need to ensure that the ads that you run are extremely well optimized and you are taking the best out of whatever you are spending. The first and the most important thing is retargeting. Now, what is retargeting? Retargeting is showing your ads to those who know about your brand already. This does not only mean those who made a purchase with you earlier, it could also mean those who have only seen your ad, or those who have clicked on your ad, or those who have seen your website and not bought, or those who have added the product to their cart and haven't purchased. So all of these people are those who know about your brand, who have seen your ad, and now you need to show your ad again. So you will notice that not everyone buys the first time they see your ad. Okay, not even you do it. So even we do our research, we see an ad of a product, we do our research. Sometimes we might buy it immediately, sometimes we might buy it at some other time. So so our customers are also like this. So you need to understand that there is some reason why they did not buy. So for example, let's say a customer saw your ad, came on your website, he added the product to the cart and didn't buy. So he has taken so many steps till now, which means that there has been some intent to purchase. If there was no intent, they wouldn't have spent so much time on the website, they wouldn't have added the product to the cart. So if there is some intent, there is there's probably they did not have their credit card at that time in their hand. Probably they did not trust your website. Probably they did not uh, have their net banking details at that time. Probably they thought that, I don't need it right now, maybe I'll buy it at some later date. So there are various reasons that people do not buy in spite of liking what you sell. So what do? You reach out to them again, and and the way you reach out to them is you first create different audiences in your audience section on the ads, on TikTok ads. You retarget those who have clicked on your ad, those who have visited your website, and those who have added the product to the cart but not made a purchase. So you can segregate them by last 7 days and last 30 days. The creative that you show them should be different. So the ones who have seen it in the last 7 days, your they are the ones who are more likely to buy because it's very fresh on their mind. So show a creative wherein probably you're giving them a little bit of push, where you're giving them an additional 10% discount, 15% discount if possible. And also show your ad to those who have seen in the last 30 days, wherein discount need not be very high, but some discount, at least like a 5% discount, wherein they get a refresher of your ad, refresher of your product. Second is you retarget those who have made a purchase on your website earlier. So what you can show them is you can show them an advertisement of some other product, or you can show them a brand awareness ad, or you can show the same product if you know that your product is an FMCG, your product is lies in the FMCG category, wherein a person is going to need this product again after a month. So you can show the ad to him again after a month. Second is analyzing your data. So understand your CPMs, your CTRs, and CVRs. So your CPM is your cost per mile. So if this cost is high, then you need to adjust your bid. So try lowering your bid and see that if your CPM reduces. Second is your CTR, which is your click-through rate. So click-through rate is the percentage of people that saw your ad and clicked on it. The higher it is, the better it is. So if you see that your CTR is low, it means that your ad is not appealing to the audience that you are showing, which could mean two things. One is you're showing it to the wrong people, or your creative is not very well designed. So try changing the targeting, create a new ad group, do enter different interests, and change the creative. So this will help you to see if you can get same results at lower cost. Second is your conversion rate, CVR. So CVR also higher the better, which means that the percentage of people that come to your website making a purchase. So if your conversion is low, there are numerous possibilities. One is two main possibilities are your landing page experience, and your second is your pricing or your product features. So see to it that your landing page loads extremely fast. Do not have a lot of loading time, because people are not very patient. If it does not load very quickly, people will just go back. So ensure that your landing page loads very fast. The experience, the entire UI of your landing page, and the ease of going through the product, the features of it or your service, what are you giving, what are your offerings, is easily understandable and pleasing to read. Second, it could also be that people are not, there's a mismatch between the pricing and what you're offering. So people are not very happy with the price that they're getting. So that could also be a reason why your conversion is low. So you can work around that. Third is create a new ad group with day parting. So analyze your data, see what is the time of the day when people are buying, and accordingly show your ads at that time of the day. So let's talk about what challenges will you face when you advertise. On the face of it, there are n number of challenges that you will face. However, there are two major challenges that I will discuss, which every advertiser faces on TikTok ads. The first one is no spend. So for example, if you have given TikTok a budget of 10,000 rupees, the TikTok does not spend their entire money and it spends only 2,000 rupees or 3,000 rupees, hence not giving you the kind of reach that you wanted. So there are various reasons why this would happen. One is that your creative is exhausted, so TikTok will not show the same creative again and again if to the same people, because they want to give a good experience to their people. So showing the same thing again and again to somebody kind of irritates them. So this is not the experience that you want to give to your customers, and not TikTok wants to give to your customers. So what you can do is you can change your creative. Second is you can create a new ad group. So every time you create a new ad group, see, the audience is large. So let's say if you do somebody who's interested in automobiles, the audience could be 5 crore people, so it's that large. And in 2,000 rupees, that budget that you give them, you're not going to be reaching all 5 crore. But the thing is, what TikTok does is it identifies pockets of a pocket in that 5 crore audience which is most likely to make a purchase. So what you can do is, when you create a new ad group, it identifies some other pocket within that 5 crore audience. So you can create a new ad group and then see if the spend increases. Third is you create a traffic campaign. So by creating a traffic campaign, what you do is you give TikTok enough data to understand what kind of people are coming on the website and what actions they are taking. Traffic campaign is going to be a cost to your pocket. The minimum budget that you will have to give them is 2,000 rupees, and but the good part is that traffic campaigns are extremely cheap. So have a bid amount of 1 rupee or 2 rupee for a click, and you will have traffic coming to your website at that price. So which is actually not a bad deal when somebody is getting to know about your website at 1 rupee. However, do not expect much out of this. People are not going to be adding the product to the cart and making a purchase. If they do it, it's good, but most likely they will not. However, when they spend time on the page, or the kind of people that come on the page, TikTok will understand that this is the category of customers and it will find more such customers for you. Hence, the spend increases. So the major reason the spend does not increase is because TikTok is unable to find audience for you. So that problem will be solved here. Second is there is a sudden increase in your cost. So your ads are running fine, you're getting good conversions, you're getting good cost per conversions, everything was in place, but now the costs are increasing. The reason this could happen is that there is more competition now and the bid has increased. So what you can do is you can change the bid and you can actually reduce your bid. So what will happen is TikTok will only show your ads at the time when the bid cost is at the price that you have given, and your CPMs will come down. Second is find what time of the day your CPMs are the cheapest or your conversion costs are the cheapest, and show your ads only at that time of the day. Third is you create a new ad group with slightly different targeting and demographics. So let's talk about scaling. By now you would have created an ad account, you would have had your campaigns running, and you would have been promoting profitably on TikTok. So if you come to the section which means that you are happy with what is happening and now we want to take your brand to the next level. So you're doing 100 orders a day. Now your question is, how do I take this to 10,000 orders a day? So how do you scale on TikTok? Now, if you remember, I had earlier told you that you do not touch the ad group which is performing well. So that stays the same. So what do you do here is, you see the first method, that is increase the budget. So of that ad group, gradually increase the budget. This is a slow scaling method wherein you do not aggressively scale, but step by step you are increasing the budget. So increase the budget by about 10 to 15%, maximum 20%. So if your budget, existing budget is 4,000 rupees, change it to 4,800 maximum today. Then the next day again increase it by 20%. Then the next day again increase by 20%. So the days you are profitable, you keep increasing your budget by 10 to 20% every day, and gradually you scale. Now let's say if you want to scale very aggressively, you have a sale, it's a limited time period offer, so you want to reach out to the maximum people that is possible. Now if you change the budget from 2000 to 4000 directly, the algorithm will get the essentially the optimization will take a drift, and probably your ads will not be as profitable as they were. So what we do is we keep the ad group as it is, you duplicate that ad group, copy the ad group. There's an option you will see on the ad group which says copy. So copy the ad group as is and give a budget which is double the original budget. So for example, you have an ad group which is performing well with a budget of 2000 rupees, create a copy, give a budget of 4000 rupees and run it. Now what will happen is now your budget is 6000 rupees. So 4000 for the new ad group and 2000 for the previous ad group. Keep the previous ad group running. Remember I told you earlier, do not shut what is running well. So now from 2000 you aggressively scale to 6000. Tomorrow, the next day you can create a new ad group of 12,000. That's how you duplicate it by doubling the budget. Third one is the BDD method, which is the best time of the day. Analyze, see what is the best time of the day your ads, your cost per conversions are cheapest, and show your ads during that time and give a high budget. Fourth is traffic method. So the challenge that we discussed earlier, that no spend, that is going to come when you are actually getting onto scaling. So traffic method is actually not a type of scaling, but it goes hand in hand when you are scaling. So this runs simultaneously with other campaigns. So run a traffic campaign, send people to your website so that TikTok understands what kind of people are more likely to buy. The fifth one is revise duplication method. In this one, you do the exact same thing what we did in duplication method. However, here you do three different things. One is you create a copy in the same campaign. Second is you create a copy of the same ad group in a new campaign. And the third one is you run the same campaign, the same ads in a new ad account altogether. So create a new TikTok ad account, create a new campaign, a new ad group, everything same, and run it over there. This helps TikTok to identify different pockets of audience in your same interest category, and that's how you end up scaling. One more method that I would like to tell you is remove any interest. So once you have a lot of purchases, what you can do is you can not put anything in interest category. So let TikTok find the right audience for you. Let's move on to scaling with look-alike audiences. Look-alike audiences are very powerful. As I told you, you give TikTok data that these are the kind of people that have purchased from our website. Now you find people who look like them. Let data do the talking and you enjoy the results. So in this one, you create a lookalike of the following 4 custom audiences, which is those who clicked on your ad in the last 180 days, those who saw your product in the last 180 days, those who added the product to the cart in the last 180 days, and those who made a purchase from you in the last 180 days. Now in each of these audiences, you can create 3 lookalike audiences, which is specific, balanced and broad. This will give you 12 different audiences to test. So now you have 4 different custom audiences and 12 different lookalike audiences which you can create an ad group of. So create 12 different ad groups and shoot the ad. Now when do we create a lookalike audience? The more data TikTok has, the better audience that you will get. So ensure that you have at least 500 add to carts before you create a lookalike audience for add to cart, and you have at least 100 purchases before you create a lookalike audience for your purchase. Now you do not need to do all of this together. So for example, if you want to increase your budget gradually as well, so once you get 500 add to carts, create a lookalike audience of only add to carts. Then if you're satisfied with it and you have a lot of purchases, then you move on to creating lookalike audiences of those who made a purchase. Now let's say you have a lot of data and you have already have about 2000 plus purchases on TikTok, and you are doing about more than 100 purchases every month on TikTok. So now what you do is you created audiences for last 180 days earlier, create the same audience for last 30 days and create lookalike audiences. This will give you 12 more audiences to work with, and now you have 12 more ad groups to work with. Now the thing here is that your target here is not to make everything profitable. Your target here is, the goal here is to find which audiences work the best. Not all audiences will work best. It could also be that specific add to cart audience in the last 30 days are working better than specific purchase in the last 180 days. Let the data do the work and let TikTok find the best audiences for you. So your job is to see which audience works best for you and keep those ad groups running, and those who are not working, you turn them off. So this is the entire game over here is to test and test. So there is no fixed rule that this will work or this will not work. These are all different things that you can do. So whatever I have shared is something that I do to find my best audience. So not every time is the same audience that works. So the audiences that work for me will be very different for what will work for you. The strategies, the number of strategies that I've given you, so not all strategies will work for you. Some will work, some will not. So the strategies that work for you may not work for me, and vice versa. So the goal here again is, I repeat, you test and test till you find what is best working for you. Now after you find what audiences are working best for you, you move on with scaling with LLA. Let's say you found out top three audiences that work best for you. Now you create separate ad groups with a very high budget with these three best performing lookalikes. So let's say your specific audience for add to cart, purchases and page browsers in the last 30 days are working best. So you create three different ad groups of these three and give them a high budget and run them. Second option is, what you do is you create only one ad group with all these three audiences in the same ad group and give it a high budget. Now if you have more than three audiences that are working for you, it's good, it's very good. So what you do is you create two different ad groups. So the top three in one ad group, the next three in the second ad group, and give them a high budget and run those ads. Most likely, if all these audiences have worked for you, this ad group will also work for you and will give you a very low cost per conversion. If you have any questions, feel free to write to us and we will be more than happy to answer your question. So that's about it. Hope you enjoyed the course. Hope you learned and made the most of it. All the best for TikTok ads. More power to you and your business. Thank you.